Hey guys, welcome once again and welcome to session three of Thinking Big. And I'm sure by now, if you have watched the first and the second session, you would have got some fair idea about what we are all talking about. We are talking about that how thinking big can really change the way you work. It can transform your life. It can bring big achievements to you, and it can just change the way you are living right now. Your way of doing things will completely change. So, just have a very quick recap of what we have done if you are not very refreshed with that. In the first part, we talked about that what thinking big can change and what are the major challenges that people face when they have to think big and what stops them. And in the second session that we completed, we talked about limits that people have in their mind when they have to think big. In fact, there are no limits. Only thing is we have to understand our own potential and we have to just try out things, and we should not be fearing the failures. Rather, we should be embracing the failures and doing much more and achieving higher things. And no doubt, because of that reason of limitless thinking, you can see, the history tells about that how things have turned around. We have reached in space. We are breathing inside water, and we are moving in air on aeroplanes and whatnot that we have achieved so far. Now, in this section, in this third section, I'm going to take you to the next level, and that is going to be the blueprint of thinking big. You should know that what exactly happens when you think small and when you think big. Once you have that visibility and clarity, I can tell you everything will change for you, because anything that you approach from here is going to change the way you work, change the way you behave, change the way you act. And that's how you are going to achieve bigger things in your career, in your life, once you understand this concept of thinking big. So I'm going to take you through the blueprint of thinking big, and feel free to write any question and I would love to answer that, and also try out this concept in your day-to-day life and see how you bring that change, and I would be more than happy to hear it. So I will now take you through the high achievement blueprint. Now, in order to understand this blueprint, we need to first understand that what exactly happens with all of us. So the basic thing that happens is that, we all have the same amount of time, that is 24 hours available with us. And hard work is hard work. So whatever that we do, whether you, me, anybody else on this earth, we all have the same amount of time. Now, the bigger question is that what we do in this given amount of time will determine what we achieve, isn't it? Because whatever time that you're going to spend in terms of doing things will define your achievement. So the question is, what you do is determined by what you think, which means that your actions are directly linked to your thinking. Whatever job that you are in, whatever action that you are taking is coming out of your thinking pattern. If you remember, when we started this session, I said, think big, achieve big, think small, achieve small. So if you think smaller things, as smaller targets you take, smaller milestones that you take, likewise you will achieve smaller things. But when you take bigger targets, which means that you improvise your thinking, when you deep dive into bigger thinkings, the achievement also changes. So eventually, how big you think is how you achieve. So this is a basic blueprint. Now let's go into some graphical representation of the same and understand that how it works. To understand this, I'm sure you will agree that any achievement that you get, any achievement, small, big, medium, extra large, or whatever achievement that you get, it is always a combination of what you do, how you do, and what you do with. Now, this is how you get into any task, and a combination of all these three factors gives you the outcome. Now, if you look at this way of doing things, you will definitely get some success, but not extraordinary success, not that big success. It is not going to give you the giant step, because when you think about people, that when people say that I want to improvise my business, or I want to do something better than last year, I want to do bigger things this year. In other words, what they are saying is they are talking about the next level of thinking. They are not saying that I'm going to do the same thing what I did last year. every year when the new year begins, you hear out people say that this year I want to achieve this year I want to do that. In other words, what they are basically doing is they are saying that I'm going to improvise on my thinking in terms of what I do, how I do, and what I do with. And basis that, they decide their actions. So we can show that in the same way, when you have to go big, you have to really think about something extraordinary. And that is where you get extraordinary results. So if I represent the same thing in this way, on the top, you see there is a thinking, and on the below, you see that there is a time and effect. Now, what kind of actions you take in terms of thinking? When you think small, your actions are small. When you think big, your actions are big. And likewise, in small actions, in small thinking, you get small outcomes and you require less amount of time. Whereas the higher or the bigger or the sweeter fruits, they are lying on the top, they are a little far off, and that requires a higher level of thinking. And based on that higher level of thinking, your actions are also different, they are also bigger, and so is the outcome. What does it mean? It simply means that thinking informs action and action determines the outcome, which is basically your achievements. Thus, what is important is think big, act big, and succeed. Now, imagine if you now know that big thinking can bring big outcomes. Now, put everything that you have and think as big as possibly you can. Think anything that you want to do. And then apply the same work, that what you do, how you do, and what you do with, but possibly this time with the biggest thinking that you can think of. And then your graph will look something like this on thinking and time effect. Your actions, small actions will bring small outcomes. Your higher actions, higher thinking will bring higher outcomes. So in other words, what you are seeing here is what kind of box you are in. Are you in a smaller set of box where you are happy and satisfied with whatever that you do? And if you continue to remain in this box, you will see that you will not make any progress and your actions will only bring out smaller outcomes. But the moment you change your box, when you change your box means when you change your thinking, when you build your thinking to the next level, when you want to do extraordinary things to get the extraordinary results, you will see the outcomes are also bigger. The results also grows exponentially. Your income grows exponentially. Your increments goes exponentially. And that's why people who think and change the way they think, they are the one who get promoted. They are the one who get more business. They are always in demand. They are always inspiring. They are always radiating positive energy. And that's why the bigger question I'm going to leave you with is, how big is your box? Are you inside the box and just remain in that ceiling and you feel that, whatever you are doing, you are comfortable with, whatever you are earning, you are comfortable with, then you are in the smaller box here. But if you really want to transform your life, you really want to bring big change in your life, you really need to transform that thinking by bringing and increasing the size of your box. That will help in bringing bigger outcomes. Well, I'm sure this small sessions that you have attended today with me would have given you a lot of insights about what big thinking is all and how it transforms people, how it changes the way things are done. And that's how you can transform yourself. I would wait for your feedback. I would wait for your questions, and I would be happy to answer them. And I believe this video would have given you some good insights on how to think big and transform yourself. Thank you very much, and stay with Arun Tukral on this channel on YouTube. Thanks a lot.